Hi everyone, welcome to Tony Fox Tarot. Thanks for joining me today and great to have you with me. So today we're looking to tap into the other side and draw a message from a past loved one, somebody who is very dear to you, who is trying to connect with you today. We'll do that by breaking down the character of who this person is so that you understand clearly what your relationship is to this person, as well as giving you a message that will hopefully help you to move forward on your path in a way that's a little bit more clear. Before we get started, if you would like to go down below and hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon while you're there. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. Please like and share this video where you can. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Now, before you on the screen, we've got 4 different piles of cards, and the idea is to choose a pile that resonates with you really strongly. Once you've made that choice, that's your reading. It's perfectly fine to choose more than one pile if it comes through really clearly for you. And just remember, this is a general reading, so take what resonates, leave behind anything that doesn't. Now, we have pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. Taking a moment to be with the cards, drawing in a nice deep breath, and as you release the breath, listening to your intuition, your inner voice, the energy of the cards. Which of these piles comes through for you the strongest? Is it pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, or pile 4? Down below there are 4 different timestamps representing each of these different piles. If you would like to go to the one that you've chosen, I'll see you in a moment. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 1. This is your reading. So messages from past loved ones coming from the other side today. This is what it's all about, and we have some cards on the table here and we're ready to link into the other person that I'm sensing who is coming through here. I've really got a very strong connection to you. I felt that this was from a time when you were very young. This feels like it could be a sibling or like a best friend. There's a real twin energy here, like a real soul connection. This is an individual who's very close to you, and I felt that you did everything together. Inseparable is what I felt. It's a very quirky, clicky connection that you have with this person. Very closed group. It's just the two of you. It's like us against the world, and everything that you kind of look at, talk about, think about, collaborate on, it's a very kind of specific kind of vibe or a very specific kind of point of view. It's like, you get each other and you get each other in a way where there's this kind of individualistic, very shared experience. It's like, we're peas of a pod and we have a lot of similarities going on here. I felt that there was total trust within each other, in a way where you trust your life with this person. You could tell secrets. You could confide in them in a way where you knew that it would not go beyond them. In fact, this person who has passed over, I felt that they passed over. Look, they either passed over in early age or maybe as they were sort of getting into being a younger person. So maybe in their teens or into their 20s. I felt that they took a lot to their grave in terms of the things that you had trusted to talk to them about that were really just between the two of you. And I really felt like you two got each other and nobody else got the two of you. It's like you two were really odd. This thing about being quite odd seems to really come through in a very strong way for me. Odd, individualistic, unique. There was just and maybe there was even like an aesthetic there. Maybe the way you dressed, the way you acted, the things that you were into, they were very different to everybody else. There was nothing mainstream about you and this other person, and the way that collaboration keeps on coming up for me as well. I've got to run with that because I kind of felt that you collaborated on a lot of things. I felt that this person had either an age difference that was a little bit ahead of you, or I don't know, maybe they just had a little bit more maturity. I kind of feel that this person is kind of just a bit ahead of you in a way where They were always looking out for you. You came first to them in a way where they felt very responsible to you. So they were always looking out for you, always watching over you. Everybody else could wait. It's like, actually, you know, pretty much everything they did was for you in a way. I don't want that to sound weird, but it's like you and this other person just got each other and you looked out for each other, and it was a very shared experience. And I really felt that perhaps your upbringings were not easy. Yeah. That there were some very sort of troubled experiences that were actually going along in the background in a way that made you feel that you had each other, that you were because you were very supportive of each other. You were always there for each other. It was a really unsaid thing, but neither one of you ever took it for granted, because you also knew that what was going on in the background was reflective of the fact that life could be really, really, really hard. In fact, I really do feel for the both of you that life wasn't handing you a good experience in terms of your childhood. I think there was a lot of trouble going on, and I felt, trust was a really big issue for each one of you. I felt that you could either have come from the same family or maybe different families, but with the same sorts of problems that were going on. And there were some big problems going on that really cast some dark shadows over your lives. And so having each other was everything, because it gave you, it kept you both going. It kept you both going. It kept you both, it kept your faith really in being able to sort of have a relationship with somebody that was based on trust, and the fact that there was give and take. Yeah, there was a lot of love here. I do feel very strongly that this is a soul connection. I don't feel that this was just like one particular lifetime. I kind of feel this has been going on in many lifetimes, and it will go on for many lifetimes to come. This person really pushed you though. They really pushed you to kind of step it up. They really wanted you to kind of try hard, to push hard, to kind of, there are a lot of things that you couldn't do that they could, but they really coaxed you to try and give it the best shot. You know what I mean? Like they didn't see, they only saw your potential, in all honesty. They saw your potential to step up and to be capable and to kind of follow in their not their slipstream, because that would make it sound like it's all about them. And it wasn't. It was actually about the both of you. But this person had an edge, and it's either the age difference or maybe some different experiences that kind of just put them a little bit ahead of you in a way that they had a lot to teach you. And they really did feel a responsibility to you in a way where they wanted to kind of make sure that you were okay. I feel that this person is saying today that they've they left something to you. Something that had been passed down generation from generation to them. And they're not sure if you've gotten that. It was really important. It was something perhaps that you had you had known about when they were here in this world. And they're saying, there's somebody might be holding this back, and if that's the case, it's much closer than you think. It's just a matter of giving it a push and making sure that you get back or get what is actually rightfully yours. Since they passed on, you've really held back. This is what they're saying. They're saying that you're really holding on, and sometimes you really sit on the fence with everything. They want you to loosen up. They're saying, step up, face it, do it. Just let it all go and go with the flow. What's the worst that can happen? And they're saying, we always landed on our feet, didn't we? It's like the two of you, no matter what sort of trouble or what sort of kind of exploit you're up to, it's like you guys always found your feet. You always came good. It's like, so they're saying here that I'm picking it up, but they're saying there's so much guilt. Stop feeling like you've done something wrong. You're worrying about everything in a way where it's like you have no control over it. They're saying stop worrying about things that you have no control over. This thing about go with the flow is really big for them. It's like when you were together, you had a flow where you just kind of followed it and you never really thought about it much. You were kind of in each other's world. You were each other's world in so many ways. It was a very closed world. And since they've been gone, you've carried this guilt, in a way where it's really stopped you, and like you've really pulled back and you've begun to sort of hold on in a way where you stopped going with that flow. So let all the worry go. They're just saying, let it go. They're also saying you worry about everybody else. You're worrying about everybody else but yourself. And you also worry about them. I feel like you, and this isn't from them, but I feel like you feel guilt about them. That there's some kind of burden that you're carrying, that you feel maybe that you did something wrong, or there's something that you could have done, or there's something that you didn't do. You had no control over this situation. They're right. They're so right in what they're saying. It's, just let it go. It's like, it is what it is. You did nothing wrong. I feel like what I want to say, and what they want you to, what they want to say is that you were kids, like you were kids, you had no idea of what was really going on. You were just being kids. It's okay just to be innocent about things. It's okay not to know what you know today, if that makes sense to you. They want you to stop sitting on the fence, and especially this thing about this thing about your path. They're saying you're worrying about your path in a way where you kind of expect everything to go wrong. It's like again, just go with the flow. Stop worrying about it. Stop worrying about kids. For some of you, I don't know. This thing about kids is a really big thing. Worrying about kids, worrying about the family. It's like you can't stop things from happening. You just have to kind of let it all go in a way where life just unfolds. Don't expect the worst. They're saying this thing about depression has been quite big for you. And a big part of what that is that you're not being your real self. You're kind of trying to be something that everybody else wants you to be, and it makes you really unhappy, because how you're actually acting out for everybody isn't how you really are as a person. And so you're portraying how you feel on one level, but it's not how you really feel underneath. So there's a kind of almost like a dishonesty in that. And again, you need to let that go. Stop faking it is what they're saying. Oh, that's quite harsh, isn't it? But it's true. Stop faking it. Listen, they're saying things are going to really change for you. There's a new beginning ahead, okay? There's a total rebalance in terms of your world in a way where there's going to be this enormous surge of positivity. They're really looking out for you. They're really there for you. There's going to be a reconnection to life in a really fulfilling way. And, you're going to get back to yourself again in a way where you feel whole again. Now, what they want to say today is that there's always ups and there's always downs. You had it when you were kids. Like sometimes it would be amazing, and sometimes it would be really like bottom of the barrel stuff. And there was some really rough stuff going on. So yes, things can get really bad, but things can get really great as well, especially when you're in the moment and you just let it all go. Just go with the flow. Be on the up when you're on the up. Look, this thing about family is everything for you. Family is here. Family is coming. Identify who your family is, whether that's your family or whether that's your chosen family, okay? But the thing that they're saying to me today, and this really is underscored 3 times, they're saying, accept your family, the family you have or the family you have chosen, because they're going to help you. They're going to support you. They're going to be there for you. Now, I hope this reading has made some sense, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe. Tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Bye-bye. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 2. This is your reading, and we are tapping into the other side and drawing messages from past loved ones for you today. So let's have a look and see what we've got here. And I'm drawn up here To the High Priestess and the King of Pentacles, I felt this was very much, I felt this was a father energy, very strong father energy. So it could be your father, or it could be a very strong father figure that was in your life. I felt age was quite significant here too. Perhaps the time they passed, it was old age. This is somebody who's lived a long, full life. The other thing I thought here also is that it might be a grandparent energy, somebody who actually stepped in to be a father figure. Definitely a father link here, and age is very significant. Yeah, the vibe I get from this person though is quite arrogant and very indignant as well. Really held a grudge against people. Grumpy old man is what I get. Is he just very difficult to communicate with, not communicative at all. In fact, quite the opposite, very aloof. I felt this person was disengaged from you when they were on this earth. I felt this person didn't show any interest in you in a way that gave you a connection that reinforced or supported your life. Growing up, I felt this was somebody who was emotionally detached, and that led to a lot of problems for you. In as much as that you never knew where you stood with this person, and the relationship was one where they kind of floated in and floated out. I have to be honest with you, I really felt that this person was uninvolved in your life, largely. And I think that was very much the case when you were young, but it kind of continued on right until the day they passed away. There was no presence, physically. There was no presence emotionally. There was no heartfelt connection there. It was very, very hard and quite austere in that sense. I've really felt some of the challenges here when this person passed over. They didn't leave you anything. Like there was no. It doesn't have to be sort of, material. I don't feel they left a legacy for you. It's like, what do you remember this person by? This was a person who was very self-interested, very materially focused. I get a lot of self-gratification going on here. I felt this person was very self-indulgent. It was all about them. Everything they did really was for themselves, and so quite selfish and short-sighted when it came to their relationships with other people in terms of their involvement with the family. Their material focus was everything, and it really tied into this quite egotistical nature. This person deep down was a very insecure individual. They had a really uncertain sense of their real true self. The bearings there in terms of the compass, just way off in terms of feeling that they could actually be vulnerable around anybody. There's a lot of insecurity going on, and so they really needed very much to compensate or overcompensate in a way that gave them a sense of feeling that somehow that they were valid, and the way that they did that was actually to really focus on the material self. So buying things themselves, spending money on themselves, making themselves look good. I felt that this person was quite well turned out, very eye-catching, in their day, but also right through, their life. They really took the time to kind of look after themselves. How they looked, how they appeared to everybody was everything to them. I don't want this to sound too negative, but it's the reason why this person's coming through today is because I want to say that they're sorry. They can see that they were so preoccupied with themselves. They were completely preoccupied with all the things that distracted them from their responsibility to you. They can see that now. It's easy for them to look back and actually say, I can see where I went really wrong. But at the same time, what you have to remember is that this person didn't grow up in a way where they were taught anything different. In fact, this is a generational thing that's been passed down from one generation to the other through their line. It's how they were brought up. It's what they were taught. You had to fight for yourself. You had to figure it out for yourself. And what's yours was yours. It's not something. There was no sharing for this person. They were taught that you had to be selfish and that you had to figure things out for yourself. Because if you didn't, then life was going to deal you an uncertain hand in a way where so trust was a big issue here, and there was, and also there was a very strong focus on poverty, a poverty consciousness, I suppose you could say. This person was led to believe that you had to get what you can at all costs, and you had to look after yourself because you didn't know where the resources were going to be just around the corner. Things could be taken away from you. It was all about survival is what I'm saying. So you have to remember that this person is saying sorry to you today, and they're saying sorry to you, but they want you to know that it's not all about them doing things wrong. Yeah, if that makes sense. If you can see the deeper root cause, then you would begin to understand. And the thing is, now you're at an age where you can begin to pull this apart in a way where you can break the cycle. And today, what they're saying is they want you to break the cycle. The problem for you at the moment, and this is a message that's coming through really strongly, is there's a lot of issues around commitment for you in terms of relationships, whether that's intimate relationships or family or social relationships. A lot of destructive outcomes seem to come out in the mix for you in a way where it leads to a lot of painful experiences, and there's a tendency for you to blame yourself for this. And what they want you to know is that that's actually it's not your fault. This is something that was bred into you in a way where it's become learnt behavior at a very unconscious level. You've been brought up like this. The other thing is also they want you to know that the thing is you're also drawn to people who don't have your best interests at heart, and that's really problematic because it's almost like you're looking for rejection on a level. You're looking for intimacy, you're looking for close relationships, but people always end up letting you down. And the people that you're gravitated towards are the people that are very much like this person was with you, somebody who was unavailable, who didn't have your best interests at heart, who didn't give you the support that you needed, that didn't validate you as an individual. It's like a cycle. It just keeps going around and around and around. And they're saying, stop blaming yourself. This is not all about you, okay? This is actually about something much bigger in terms of like a cycle of behavior that's been coming down from one generation to the other. Now, what they want you to do is they want you to look after yourself. They want you to start putting yourself first. I mean, it sounds really simple, okay? They're saying, look, I always put myself first, but I put myself first for the wrong reasons. I put myself first for selfish need. It's time for you to put yourself first because you have to give yourself what you need at a heartfelt level in terms of your, and this is very much to do with your vulnerability. Give yourself what you need to survive. Stop jumping into relationships that let you down, yeah? Learn to accept that it's okay to be vulnerable, right? It's also okay. It's okay to expect support from others. It's actually a part of being like a healthy relationship. You need to be. You need to be what you feel. If you can't be honest, if you can't be truthful about how do you really feel with another person, and they can't deal with that in a way that actually validates you and gives you the support that you need, then it's just not worth it. So they're saying drink from your own well and really give to yourself. They're saying the next 3 years is huge for you. Really, really big. You've been distracted by a lot of difficulties that have been going on for you, over the years, really. But the next 3 years is a really big step towards material security, okay? You're also working, there's also big steps towards the work that you're doing. So this is very much about building foundations towards the kind of life that you want to have on one level. But stability and security, very much a part of that. It all ties in with the work that you're doing. I kind of feel that what's happening here is that you're actually getting to a place where it's a really healthy place for you. A very transformational period over the next 3 years. Healthy relationships will begin to kind of factor into your life DNA once you begin to understand that it's okay to look after yourself first, that it's okay to be vulnerable, Another thing here that I'm getting really strong is around health. I feel that perhaps for some of you, there might have been some challenges around health lately. And they're saying today, this other person is saying to you, things are building onwards and upwards. You are getting stronger each and every day, okay? You're actually coming out of what's been a very difficult cyclic period, you know, and I feel like this has been going on for a very long time for you. It's really, really dragged down. A lot of this is historic and relates to your childhood, but you're about to break through into a new cycle that's much more positive and goal-orientated. There's a lot of resolution that's happening. There's a lot of healing that's happening in terms of your lineage. Now, you know, part of that is about being proactive and recognizing some of the behaviors that you hold within yourself. But on another level, there's also work being done behind you on the scenes at a spiritual level amongst your ancestors. They recognize the difficulties that have been happening. There's a collaboration there to break the cycle from an energetic point of view for you as well. So don't think that you're alone on this, you know. This person who's passed away, you know, they fully recognize where things have gone wrong, and in spirit, they're doing everything that they can to try and make things right. And they want you to know, this is truthfully, they really want you to know that they're very sorry about how they behaved, about the fact that they weren't there for you, that they failed you, that they were so selfish for themselves. And what they want you to know is that it's okay for you to be selfish for the right reasons, okay? Don't be selfish for material gain, for material need, for validation, you know, of an egotistical nature, like they were. Be selfish for the security that you need so that you can thrive as an individual. You know, it's okay to have a thirst to be vulnerable, to show people what you're really like. It's okay to have a thirst for people to be there for you in a way that can hold you and see you for who it is that you really are. I hope this reading has made some sense to you, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. If you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. And yeah, take care. Thanks very much. Bye-bye. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 3. This is your reading, and we're tapping into the other side today. We're drawing on messages from past loved ones, and I have somebody here who I'm going to just jump straight in with to communicate to you about. This is a really, gosh, I get a feeling this is like, you know, this is a really good looking person. I get a very masculine energy coming through. The eyes really catch me. Everything is about their eyes. They're just these deep wells of I don't know what it is. There's something quite enigmatic about this person. They have this certainty about them. They really know who they are, and they're rock solid on that level. But understanding who it is that they are, it's like, whoa, it's like you can't quite get them. You can't fathom them. There's a depth to this person that is really hard to gauge. There's something slightly unnerving about it, but there's also something very attractive about it as well. A real dark horse. I get a very good looking person here, a real eye catcher. Heads turn when they see this person. I definitely get a masculine energy coming through. I felt that this could be somebody's father. Maybe like an older brother. There's maturity here. So I felt this person was midlife, yeah, middle-aged, and really looked after themselves in terms of their physical fitness. I felt that this was somebody who was really in touch with their physicality. Something very sexual about them, though. Look, and I don't mean that to sound weird, because if this is somebody who's related to you, it's just I'm just trying to sort of convey the feel, the vibe that I'm getting. And a part of why they're so attractive is because they're so unavailable. You know, they're just very deeply comforted by their own presence. They just know themselves in a way where they don't really need anybody else. I felt this was a fearless individual. They would try anything once, and nothing would stop them. If they made their mind up to do something, they'd just go and do it. They wouldn't think twice about it, and they didn't care what anybody else thought. In fact, that was probably the last thing on the list, you know, and they really wouldn't give any energy to that. I sense that this was somebody who really got off the wheel, you know. They did their own thing. They did not feel that they had to comply with anybody else's wishes or expectations. They just made up their own mind to do whatever it is they wanted, and they just followed through. I felt they turned their back on a lot of things. I feel like this is somebody who turned their back on perhaps religion. They just weren't convinced by it in a way that they could buy into it in any way, shape, or form. I don't feel that meant they were void from any kind of spiritual pulse. In fact, if anything, I actually think they were very deeply spiritual, but it had to be proven to them in a way where they could experience it for themselves. Highly educated, a very academically minded person, perhaps even an educator on one level. I felt that they had a lot to share, a lot of information. This is somebody who journaled, who read and researched. They knew what they were talking about. If they sat down and had a conversation with you, they would not indulge anybody who made crap up, you know, and they would pull you up, you know, like this is somebody who would call you out if you were trying to be an idiot, really. I mean, they didn't suffer fools at all, and they had no time for people who indulged in stupid behavior. You know, they would call that out. I felt that this was somebody who was very, you know, very quick-witted, very sharp with their tongue. You know, they could really slice it all up in a way that was very witty. They used satire a lot, and it could be quite cutting in a way where it brought you down to size, but it was just like straight to the bone and you know, cut straight through the air in a way where everybody listened. I don't feel like they said a lot, actually. I felt that they spent a lot of time alone, very quiet and maybe broody, but you know, like in a way where they were just very self-reflective, very, you know, like the process there was very deep. And you know, you would look on with this person and think, what's going on in there? What's going on in that mind? How do they tick? And, you know, you just can't get it. You know, you can't fathom it. And that energy is quite enigmatic. I felt this person was a bit of a dark horse, is what I'm feeling. I felt that for you, this person was an absolute mentor in your world. I don't feel like they had a huge amount to do with your life, in fact. They were kind of more in the background in a way where they had a very strong influence and you looked up to them and you had a lot of respect for them. You accepted them for who it is that they were, and even though they weren't overly emotional, you still loved them very deeply in a way where I think you're a lot like this person. I do feel that. The one thing I really like about this person is they just didn't take any crap. You know, they just would not take it on, and they didn't feel that they had to do that. Yeah, so quite a lot going on there in terms of this person being a very complex, sophisticated individual who really just, you know, marched to the beat of their own drum and, you know, did their own thing in a way where, you know, they just didn't feel that they had to make anybody else happy or to live up to anybody else's expectations. Now, what I felt here was this person they passed over very quickly, okay? I felt that this was a tragedy and that it left you and everybody else with a lot of pain. Nobody saw this coming. It was instantaneous. I kind of feel that it just happened very, very quickly. And nobody, and it was the shock of it all. Everybody was just like, my God, you know, like it's instant loss. And and for you and for other people around you, there's been a lot of pain with that because there's no resolution as to why this it felt like it was really unfair is what it felt like. And this person is saying to you, no, it's actually, that's not how you should be thinking or feeling about it at all. They were actually really liberated by the experience of going very quickly. There was no pain, right? They want you to know that there was no pain, there was no suffering. It was like instantaneously into a different dimension. And if anything, it gave them an enormous release. They're very happy that they moved on. They hadn't felt any suffering. They hadn't felt that this was before their time. I think because they went sort of youngish, midlife, I think a lot of people felt that they were robbed. Yeah. This person is saying it's okay. I'm perfectly fine. There was no suffering. And, I think this thing about liberation is really big for them. They were a very liberated person, right? Because, they were liberated in just doing what they wanted to do when they wanted to do it without feeling that they had to be anything else but themselves. And in some ways, the way they passed on, it kind of reflected that, yeah? So they're fine. What they're wanting to say is that for you, because you are very similar to this person, you're actually very driven like them. And this idea of a new life has been really floating around for you, yeah? Almost like a burning desire for it, to find some kind of fulfillment, and to move on in a very clear-cut and concise way. It's like you're looking for a change of some sort in your world. A change that gives you the emotional and spiritual fulfillment perhaps that you haven't been getting. There's a sense that you felt really isolated and that you've wanted to move on in a way that warrants big change, okay? And that change could be a lot of different things. It could be moving house or moving city or moving country or a complete change of life, it also could be like a new job or getting out of a relationship. Or kind of dropping all of the friends that you have and moving on and finding a whole new set of friends. It even could be all of those things at once. So it's about cutting away and starting fresh. And they're saying you've outgrown your life in so many ways, yeah, that it's time for change. It's time for a huge amount of change that will give you what it is that you're actually looking for. The thing is, though, is that, you're sitting on the fence about things in a way where it's one step forward, two steps back. And you keep on getting caught up in things. They're saying you're caught up in the rat race. You've got too many problems that are distracting you from making a decision that's really decisive, a decisive decision. They're saying, but one of the main problems for you is people. Okay, so whether that's your social set of friends or your family or, your professional setting, it's like people are stopping you from making that decision. Every time you get close to making a decision to do what is it you want to do, something complex arises, or you focus on a set of problems that actually preoccupy you, and you seem to get involved with everybody else's problems as well. It's like you're giving everybody else too much time, too much space. It's a preoccupation. This is actually about you choosing to focus somewhere else so that you don't get on with changing what really needs to be changed. I felt here that this also could be very much about a relationship or relationships at large that go nowhere as well. It's like you're going around in circles and very, very much limited by the experiences of these people. It's like they feed into your life in a way where it just goes around in circles. And in many ways, a lot of these relationships have actually, they passed their use-by date. This person is saying, stop focusing on all of the red tape, okay? You need to make a decision to cut through all of the crap, yeah? What you're focusing on right now, you're focusing on all the problems that are going on. You're focusing on all of the things that are stopping you. You're focusing on all of the people that actually take you nowhere, yeah? You're focusing on issues that stop you from making a decision. It's time to be decisive. It's time to act. It's time to slice through all of the crap and take the bull by the horns and move forward towards what is it you want to do. Now, what is it that you want to do? You want a complete new change here. You want to slice away, you want to cut away, and you want to take charge of your life in a way that it gives you emotional and spiritual fulfillment. Yeah, you want to head off in a new direction that's about a new beginning for you. And the only way to do that is to drop all of this preoccupation with all the things that are stopping you, all of the things that are filling up the space with a whole load of preoccupation, okay? Time to act, time to move on. They're saying the ball is in your court. The really interesting thing is that this person and their influence is all about taking control, all about doing what it is that you want to do as an individual, being your own person, not listening to anybody else, not getting caught up in all of the preoccupations. Keep it clean, keep it efficient, keep it focused, take charge and move forward. That's what this person is saying to you. Now, I kind of feel like on one level that's actually been quite harsh, but actually, do you know what? They're just cutting through it and getting to the point. Look, I hope this reading has made some sense to you, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. And please like and share this video where you can, obviously. And if you are interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thank you very much and take care. Bye-bye. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 4. This is your reading and we are tapping into the other side today. We're drawing messages through from past loved ones and cards are on the table. So let's jump on in and actually have a look and see what's going on here. I've got a very feminine energy coming through. I feel like this is a mother. If it's not a mother, it could be an older sister, like a much older sister, or it could be an aunt. The relationship between you and this person was very, very close, very, very loving. I feel that this person took a long time to pass over. It was a very drawn out process that was very difficult to deal with. It was kind of almost like a slow decline, and it left a lot of uncertainty for everybody. It was a very destabilizing process because it took a lot of energy to deal with, a lot of resources as well. So it's kind of like your life had stopped because of what was happening. It's almost like for some of you, I feel perhaps you had to give everything up to be there for this person. But this person was fully conscious and cognitive all the way through. I don't feel at any given time that they kind of faded out on a sort of a mental or emotional or a spiritual level. They were just fully present right up until the time that they passed over. But it was a very long process and created an enormous amount of uncertainty for you. And it was very destabilizing a very destabilizing experience for you and also for everybody concerned. I felt that this was somebody who really centered their attention in the home. And I get a homemaker, a very feminine force here, somebody who was very caring. You know, I get a child whisperer, somebody who was great at bringing up kids, who readily babysat for other people. Everybody loved this person. I feel like this person was the center of a community, the center of focus for a lot of people. A lot of people looked up to this person when they felt uncertain, whether it was a friend or whether it was a family member or a colleague or somebody in the community. If there was uncertainty, if somebody was struggling, they would actually turn to this person. This person had an enormous amount of love. They were very compassionate, very gentle. They stopped and they listened. They were an amazing listener and you could tell them anything. And it was almost like they were a sounding board. You know, you could go to this person and just tap in and tell them your problems, and they would listen to you. And the thing is that they had an enormous amount of insight as well. I felt actually that this person was incredibly instinctual, and I feel that for many of you, this person was actually quite psychic. Yeah, they were very tapped into their own inner process. They had a very deep spiritual connection to the world. And I felt that they were quite prophetic at times, that they would tell people things that were going to happen, and they did happen. So this person was kind of known as somebody who had insight, who had a lot of love to give, and who I feel a very protective energy going on here, though. This person looked out over you. The relationship that you had with them was very, very close. There was an enormous amount of love there. And I feel that they watched over you all the time. They were fully immersed in your world in a way where they knew, it's like you were talking to them every single day, right? Everything that was going on, you told this person. And this person was the same with you. Like, you shared an enormous amount, and you knew how each other felt about everything. You talked to about it. Like, you shared everything together. Like, your lives are actually very enmeshed. And if you weren't kind of living in the same community or the same area, you were definitely sort of, on the phone or messaging each other all the time. Like, it was a very strong connection going on there that was very centered on love. This person was the center of your universe. And when they passed over, it destabilized everybody. I kind of felt that they were the glue that kept everything together. And I felt that there was some problems there, that when they passed over, for some of you, I felt that it's almost like, this person kept the wolves from the door in many ways. They were the glue that held everything together, but they kind of, they kind of reinforced, a world that filtered love and empathy and support, and they gave time to everybody. And when they went, everything kind of crumbled, everything fell apart. And everybody they just didn't know where to look. And people were very desperate without the love of this person in their life. And I feel that everybody became very materially focused about life in a way where it was just a lot colder. It's like this loss has been big for you. I mean, loss is big for anybody, but this loss is for you in particular. You've taken this very hard. The message that they're giving me here is that they're really worried about you. They've been watching over you, and they know that you've had a very difficult time since they passed. You've been through a very dark night of the soul. Okay, it's like you've been into a very dark place. It's very depressive, and you haven't been sharing that experience with anybody. You've actually been telling everybody else that you're fine, and you've been compensating in ways that, for the loss. And so you've kind of, you've almost, I guess, what am I saying here is, it's like you've refocused in different areas of your life in a way that are really trying to find security, like to kind of like put something back in that gives you a sense that something's holding you up. And, you've been very worried about your security. You've been looking for support, and this person is saying it's time to turn to they want you to turn to spirit. Firstly, they want you to know that they are there, and that they can see you, and they can hear you, and they can feel you, and they will never give up on you. They'll always be there for you. They're much closer than you think that they are. And the thing is that they've been trying to get your attention in a way where where they're trying to send you a message, especially in your dreams. They're really trying to come through in your dreams, or when you're daydreaming even. The times when you're not thinking so much, they find it very easy to get into you in a way where they can get a message across, but you're resisting them. And what they're saying is that it's time to accept that they've gone, that they have gone. But even though they've gone, they're still there. Like it's like you haven't lost anything, is what they're trying to say to you. And they're very worried that you're refocusing on areas that are very material and superficial. It's kind of like, this has sent you in a direction that's been very difficult for you to come to terms with. But it's like kind of almost like you're looking for material comfort because everything's become so uncertain. It's the loss of love which has been really hard for you. Gosh, I just it's really obvious. At the same time, it's just really hard to accept because you know they're not here physically, and I think part of you wants proof that they are on the other side. But you're actually being quite hard about what that criteria is as well. Like you're being a little bit unrealistic because you need to just kind of soften it down a bit and just feel it rather than, you know, have to have it proved to you. So just take it in. Just let them in because they're there. And they're saying if you feel the love now, like if you can feel the love that you had, the love's still there because they're still there. They want you to turn to the community. This thing about community is really big here for me today. You know, they were a central part of the community, but they want you to turn to the community. You know, they want you to make it all about love, make it about their love. They want you to prioritize love, and they're saying you get out what you put in. So if you put in lots of love, you get lots of love back. I think the thing that's coming through really clear for me here today is that they're saying that they want you to settle down. They want you to be clear about love in your life, and that if you think love, if you put love as being your number one priority, love will happen. They want you to find happiness, okay? And they want you to find happiness by making a deep commitment of love with yourself, with them, with somebody else, okay? And what they're saying is that this is about devotion. You know, love isn't just a feeling, it's about a way of life, and you need to be devoted to that because that's what they were. This person was devoted to your cause, to your world, and to the people who were around you, because this person believed in you and believed in the people around you. That's what's missing, is that you don't have somebody who is actively in your world who believes in you in the same way that this person believed in you, but they're still there. And the thing is, it's time for you to kind of carry that torch. It's time for you to step up and actually believe in yourself and to believe in the people around you and to believe in this person because they're still there. You know, prioritize love. They keep on saying this, prioritize love. It's about the reward of love, but you'll find that in spirit and you'll find that in the community. Yeah. Look, I hope this reading has made some sense to you. And if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below because it'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my services as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care.